Your Severance, Season 2 cheat sheet. It's been 3 long years since we spent time with the employees of Lumen Industries. Here's a quick refresher on where things stand with Mark, Helly, and the gang. Created by Dan Erickson, the Ben Stiller-directed drama follows Scott's character, Mark Scout, who leads a team at Lumen Industries, whose employees have undergone a severance procedure, which surgically divides their memories between their work and personal lives, as Apple tells it. The acclaimed show received several award nominations following its first season, earning multiple Emmys and even a Peabody Award. Severance, back next week after a 3-year absence, does the thing to which great science fiction aspires, using futuristic technology and other exaggerated concepts to comment on the world we live in right now, Rolling Stone writes in our Severance Season 2 review. Here's everything to know about watching the Severance season premiere, plus how to catch up on the first season. Apple TV Plus is the only place to stream new weekly episodes of Severance Season 2 online. The streaming service comes with a 7-day free trial to start, then costs $9.99 per month to continue with your subscription. Want to start from the beginning before watching the new episodes? The complete first season of the series is also still available to stream on Apple TV Plus. In Season 2, Mark and his friends learn the dire consequences of trifling with the severance barrier, leading them further down a path of woe, per an Apple TV Plus release. Severance Season 2 premieres Jan. 17, 2025. The new chapter features 10 episodes overall, each of which air every week on Apple TV Plus. What a relief, and, even more, what a pleasure, it was to dive into the 10 episodes of Season 2 and discover that Severance has still got it, writes Rolling Stone's Alan Sepinwall of Severance Season 2. There are some storytelling hiccups here and there, as there were, to be fair, in Season 1, but for the most part the new season is as exciting, surprising, darkly funny, and distinct as before. Juggling multiple threads and characters, introducing a raft of new supporting players, and detonating a steady stream of bombshells, Erickson maintains a firm grip on his sci-fi material, a not inconsiderable accomplishment given how far and wide his wackadoo tale winds up journeying. I know how Severance's second season ends, so my first question is, how far out have you mapped this story? Is there a set, or necessary, end point, be it a 3rd, 4th, or 5th season? Collaborating once again with one of TV's finest casts as well as executive producer, director Ben Stiller, Erickson spins a tangled web of corporate malfeasance, cubicle drudgery, religious fanaticism, and internal strife. Explaining just enough to hook viewers while dropping breadcrumbs about grander conspiracies and conflicts, it's an impressive feat of small-screen storytelling that teases, shocks, and thrills like few others. Awash in twists and turns, Severance's latest go-round proves to be worth the wait. As a result, we were excited to speak with Erickson about its numerous surprises and potential future, all without spoiling any of its biggest stunners. Speaking of flexibility, how much of the second season was set in stone, and how much of it changed along the way? You're obviously not making it up as you go along, but is there leeway to maneuver, creatively speaking, during the production of each season? If the 3rd season comes, and I would certainly be very happy if it did, it would be great if it didn't take 3 years. We're looking at ways, and I think ways have presented themselves, to tighten up the process and get it done more quickly. This is, in part, because the story has gotten more solidified as we've gone along. We've figured out more and more about what we want to do. I think there's less blue sky figuring out of things as we go along. Then procedurally, we're like, well, we know now what works and what doesn't work. So we're just going to try to streamline. Season 1 ends with an all-time great cliffhanger. At what point did you decide how you wanted to address it? Does a talked about ending like that create pressure, not only in terms of how you're going to proceed from it, but how you're going to match it at the end? In terms of starting Season 2, and I don't think this is really a spoiler, because it's in the trailer, at the end of the day, we thought that the most direct route was the most interesting, which is, let's just sit down with the characters and let them ask the questions they would naturally ask after something like this happened. We have Devon, Jen Tulloch, telling Mark that you're out. He said, she's alive, and what the hell does that mean? And them trying to wrap their heads around that. Then on the innie side, we have Dylan asking, what did you guys see up there? and each of them trying to make sense of what they learned. Sometimes, we find that the questions we ask in the writer's room, you can just have the characters ask those same questions, and that ends up leading to the most interesting version of that scene. How are we meant to interpret Helly lying about what she saw on the outside? All of the characters were rattled by what they saw, in one way or another. And each of them has to make a decision when they come back as to how much of that they are willing or ready to share. Helly made the most horrifying discovery that she could have made, because she is, it turns out, what she hates the most. There's a lot of shame that comes with that, and there is a concern that she won't be accepted by her friends. She knows they all vilify the Egans, and she is one. She doesn't want to have to take on that baggage. Can you explain the time difference between seasons? Milchick says it has been 5 months since the events in the finale, and that they've tried for weeks to get Mark's team back. Obviously, this is the Innies' first day back at Lumen since the Season 1 finale. Something that is always present on the show is the relationship of time between the Innies and Outies. You can never be totally sure how much time has passed, and you have to trust the company and hope they're being honest with you. As we've seen before, Lumen often is not honest. Talk about Ms. Huang. When did you realize you wanted a child manager at Lumen, and how did you cast the part? We always thought it would be really strange and funny to have a child in a management role. Lumen is always trying to present itself as the good guy, and it's awfully hard to hate